in San Francisco today, and in the San Francisco Opera House, and looking at the extreme architecture in here. So I don't know a lot of history of the building date, or the narrative, but we notice all the arch structures, barrel vaulted, plastered. It's all facade work in here. So I've knocking on some of the stonework. So these appear to be either cast, relatively thick, interesting. Some guy in there. But notice the incredible ceiling detail. Very reminiscent of things we've seen everywhere. But these huge columns and all the detail are inside. Not able to go inside today, but we may be able to show a little bit of the detail. So interesting brass doors and hardware. We're right across from City Hall, and we're going to be exploring all the buildings around these grounds and have a good look at what these buildings are actually made out of, and see if we can note any of the changes that might be visible in historical photos. Really want to walk through there. Would love to walk through there. Hello. I need to get a better look. So pretty amazing place, great way to start the adventure today. We're going to be looking at everything, and these doors are huge, and there's marble, but I'm noticing outside the construction of the building is a mix of granite and terracotta, very large stones. Kind of a windy day, nice day in San Francisco. Notice the copper work on the lanterns. And the building is enormous, and the detail is very good. Notice the size of these granite stones that make up the facade of the building. So we're looking at about a foot wide by maybe 10 to 12 feet long. These pieces up here, the repeating material on all the buildings, is some sort of a cast terracotta to resemble granite, segmented and jointed. So very detailed masonry. We're going to notice the cut lion heads. That appears to be legitimate cut granite. Then the columns and the details. Incredible details. And then we'll go over to and explore in great detail the City Hall. So all the views here are amazing, and we're going to see some details in this structure. I didn't know we're here. So there's fascies, there's titans morphing into the building. Looks like possibly cut granite sculpture. Up in the pediment section, detailed sculptures with caduceus and fascies on both sides of the oval-shaped components between the columns, clear fascies. There's a wild man over here yelling. And then the other side of the building So notice the gates, these extreme iron gates built. Everything is granite. Everything here is granite. All granite blocks. And this massive iron or metal gate structure. So the size and scope of all of these buildings give it the feel of a World Fair site. Some of the buildings were said to have been built during that time. One of the auditoriums. This one is said to be 1931 on their granite. So each one of those heads, those are all lion heads on all sides of the arches, on both sides of the building, going around the entire structure. These open concave alcoves, everything is granite, and it seems like there must have been a statue there. Everything feels sterile, like whatever, with the exception of the gold detail on top of the dome, everything seems very muted and possibly not what it once was. We're going to get a chance, I believe, to go into the building today. So Veterans Building War Memorial Herbst Theater. So very large arched doorways that have clearly been modified. And we know there's a giant underground connecting all these buildings. Inside the Opera House, they mentioned there's at least another floor below, but we had seen down below an opening service grate and room for vehicles to drive. It's very interesting. So I believe that is one of the auditoriums or theaters that was supposedly built as a contemporary attraction for the Pan-Pacific exhibition. These buildings were here. Looks like we can go inside. So like the other building, this one would have had the brass, and it looks like the entire alcove ceiling has been modified, so there's none of the great detail. I wonder if there's any columns in here. So nice experience to be in here. The surfaces have been changed, so it seems like the resonance is muted, lesser than what it could be. All marble floor. Very nice work. These appear to be some sort of a cast material. Sound like they might be about an inch thick, so you can hear the hollow. So this is a facade wall. Notice their plaque has fasciesque. We're going to see that pattern, I believe, quite a bit today. So lovely space. And also right across from the City Hall. So still take in some of the sights before we head over there. So we're going to do a little walking in the War Memorial Building. And the man in front did tell us that this is original stained glass, but there's significant underground here. Mechanical rooms, costume shops, and the buildings have connections underground as suspected. So very interesting. This building had gone under extensive remodel in 2015. So all of the surfaces have been removed, but we have access to the building, and there's some sort of exhibit on the 4th floor. This is only the 2nd floor. So this is all fine brass work on the staircase, and all the risers are kind of shaped in polished marble. We're coming up quite a ways, so this is the approach to the third floor. They still have the elaborate brasswork, modified floor, but the marble at the bottom of the stairway still intact of all floors. So amazing craftsmanship. So we're up towards the top, fourth floor. Up on the fourth floor, under the large skylight. These columns are not made of marble. They're made to look like marble. You can tell they're plastic. So huge arched and barrel vaulted ceiling detail. We know this is all brick, and the foundation's megalithic granite. It's a massive building. So we're going to go back down the stairs. Go down the stairs. So all brass and marble. So back outside the building, still wandering around, trying to figure out what this place is. And there's a lot of underground. So we might learn more about that at the other building. Elevator to underground. This is the entrance below ground level currently, with a lot of detail, and you can make out the terracotta on the glaze. So those are manufactured terracotta fittings, and the entire building, likely above the foundations, is brick with facade. A lot of strange faces carved into the granite. And then up above, there's quite a few visuals cut into there. A lot of repeating elements. We'll look at that in a minute. We have these large granite titans built into the columns, and then the detailed painted gold work. You see all the fascies, lion heads. Up above. So you can tell it's all granite. You're able to see the sparkling of the quartz and the fluted sections of the column. And then the fascies are evident. Got a man's head in the center, and both of the side ones are empty but appear to have some sort of an angelic figure. Hopefully get another good look at that. But we want to go inside. We'll go inside today. So 3 doors, 3 larger than normal doors, retrofitted for smaller people, still using amazing materials. A lot of great brass work has been seen. Let's find out what's going on in here. It's all granite. Amazing granite work. Hello. How are you? Doing well. Is it possible to come in for a video tour today?
You can put all your items right here.
Run the gear through the machine?
Can it stand on the ground? You can stand. Or you can lay it down right here.
The camera? Okay. If I got.
No, you got to leave that there.
Which way do I go?
Okay, you're good.
Okay.
Is it digital or film?
So we're inside the building, and we're going to get a chance to look around, but it looks like the camera is going a little crazy.
It's a major event, somebody having a party.
Okay.
Accompanied, so it's not much to see.
What time we have to get out?
A lot of weddings.
Okay.
Oh, 6 o'clock. You could be in here until 6 o'clock. Oh.
Yeah, does the signs mark well and not where not to go?
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Okay.
You guys enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you. So went through the detectors, undetected. And there's, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of interesting things to see, but we're going to go in through this highly columned, elaborate marble floor into the large space. Do not enter. If they're having a special party, I don't get to go in. It doesn't seem right. Very elaborate and spectacular. And we're going to keep going. So there's activities today in multiple chambers. We don't know where we're going to fit in. We're going to have a little peek anyway. Let's see what's going on. Massive ceilings. This is what they needed. Very cavernous, very castle-like. Hallway is obviously too huge for anyone to appreciate. More spaces. Gotta look back here. This outrageous relief. Just came out of the elevator on the 3rd floor. I'm going to have a chance to look around. So the swastikas are embedded immediately. We'll see that that's the case. What's going on down here? The big artichoke. So this, it looks like either looks like cast stone, sort of looks like travertine or maybe even cut limestone. This is some sort of, these are marble panels, tiles, there's facading. So very likely brick underwork. Not really sure what all we can see here. We're just exploring. Some strange elevators. 1, 2, 3, 4, and basement. Waiting for the elevator. We noticed the brass plate with the fascies. Not sure which one's going to open for us. Dials in. It took off without us. So we're going to go to the other elevators, but I wanted to note that this entire floor on this level, all of it is white Carrara marble tile, as are the walls. So extreme amount of work went on here. So marble, white Carrara marble facading on all surfaces. And then we have this hanging element, some sort of a chandelier. the top of the building. Let's see what it looks like down there. It's a private event. Don't go in here. Fascies. That looks like Medusa. I hate to tell you. Medusa, Fascies, Acanthus. All in one little package. Possible horns and lamp. So inside this building, it should become obvious that it's for giants. There's not a normal size floor or opening anywhere in the building. So we noticed this steam radiator is still functioning, very warm. There's some water damage here. and it's degrading the surface facade, which in this case appears to be some sort of plaster. Water is able to disintegrate. You can see bricks in the inside of the arches on the outside of the window. That's pretty interesting. I think we're on the 4th floor or something. There's some great detail on the inside of the rotunda we're going to have to look at, but it is true that the Medusa face is represented on the inside of the upper concourse of the rotunda between each column, same as on the Great Seal, which is represented across the street. So out the large window, which may or may not be original, you can see that the building is constructed of brick. From this vantage point, this archway does retain the brickwork, where up over here these are facaded with the terracotta directly over the brick, where others might be able to see. Over here, brick again. So very likely, and the whole structure is made of brick with various materials as a facade, with various components. A lot of these walls sound hollow. So that's false wall. Massive tiles, some sort of a staircase. Let's see if this is crazy. It is crazy. It's all marble. It's all white marble with interesting, intricate brass. Looking at some of these details on the railing, trying to figure out what type of a flower that is. Board of Supervisors. I do wonder about the V used in substitution for U. I'd like to know when that became popular and why they still do that. Notice the swastikas are everywhere. So up on the 4th floor, so expansive hallways. And the details include all surfaces are white Carrara marble. So these are large sections of finely finished material. But notice the wall panels, which go above, overhead, the height of the doorway, are all, appears to be 1-inch thick slab. So the entire way. Noticing all the doors are huge. all the way to the original ceiling height, and then some smaller doors. It's a very large marble stairway, marble and brass. There's swastikas in there again, right around the bottom. I think we're underground. Historical photos and things. We're just coming out of the city hall. I'm not sure what street we exited onto, but just noting the architecture. So all of the facading on the exterior is all granite. So this building is not using the terracotta faux facade with the glazed finish over clay. This is actual legitimate carved shaped, very large. I don't know if the these guys go for it here. Yeah.
I don't even know what you're supposed to do around here anymore.
Here's the Market Street. This thing.
See, the front is a total facade.
Neighborhood.
Yeah. It's getting tame.
So they throw these on your jacket here. So you're allowed to go into the little restaurant and then allowed to go to the store here.
Excellent.
Okay?
Thank you.
Here. Further on. So you're allowed to like go and then say thank you.
These are all metal formed trims around these doors, which are extra tall. And I'm inside of a massive, I don't know what it is, a ballroom. Really big, all travertine.
We have 15 minutes to get back to the car.